This show is brought to you by NMDC Group.
MENA Bank's first half profits surged 30% and MENA VC funding rises 32%. You're watching the Daily Brief with Forbes. I'm Ramia Faraj. MENA Bank's earnings skyrocketed 30% in this year's first half year-on-year, according to EY. They were bolstered by strong fiscal conditions, credit demand and government investments, and high oil and gas prices. EY forecasts the MENA's banking market will hit $2.8 trillion this year, making it one of the fastest growing markets in the world, with a compound annual growth rate of 9.8% from 2020 to 2023. The UAE, Saudi, Qatar, Kuwait, and Egypt currently account for 70% of the market. MENA venture capital funding saw $250 million raised in Q3 across 78 deals. That's a 32% increase compared to Q2 of 2023, according to startup data platform Magnet. This contributed to $1.4 billion raised through 286 transactions in the first 9 months of this year. Saudi led the region with a 172% quarter-on-quarter rise. The UAE registered a 55% rise in new funding. Magnet attributes the Q3 performance to a series of deals worth over $100 million. Investment and grants in climate tech startups have fallen by 40% over the last 12 months, according to PwC. But it says that plunge is less precipitous than the broader VC industry globally. Total venture and private equity investment fell 50.2% to $638 billion during the period. Investment in climate tech is about 10% of that total. PwC says the need for climate tech continues to rise as equity investment in startups declines for a second year. Major U.S. stock indices ended sharply higher overnight as investors were optimistic about the start of earnings season, while transportation and small cap shares also jumped. The Dow registered its biggest daily gain in about a month. Consumer discretionary led gains among S&P 500 sectors, although all of these sectors were higher. Quarterly results from Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, Johnson & Johnson, Tesla, and Netflix are due this week. Asian markets mostly rose today, and oil was subdued as President Biden prepares for a trip to the Middle East aimed at preventing the Israel-Hamas conflict spilling over into the broader region. Most of Asia advanced today, with Tokyo, Hong Kong, Sydney, Seoul, Singapore, Taipei, and Manila all positive. And oil prices moved within a narrow band after dropping more than 1% yesterday. Oil prices are steady, with reports that Washington is easing restrictions on Venezuelan crude. TSMC is expected to report a 30% slump in Q3 profit on Thursday, but analysts predict robust growth next year as the chip industry emerges from its current downturn. The likely decline in profit also reflects a strong performance last year when TSMC was benefiting from post-pandemic demand. Analysts forecast the world's largest contract chip maker will report Q3 net profit of $6 billion, its second straight quarter of profit decline. Global semiconductor demand began to weaken in this year's second half. And Apple chief Tim Cook made a surprise visit to China this week, greeting gamers in Chengdu as the company faces slumping phone sales in its biggest market. Cook met young players of the Honor of Kings game, one of the world's most played mobile games. Cook says Apple enjoys a symbiotic relationship with China, but it struggled in China in recent years, with last year's sales hit by curtailed production at its factories as a result of China's zero COVID policy. I'm Ramia Faraj. This is the Daily Brief. Thanks for watching.
This show is brought to you by NMDC Group.